I mean, of course. So Reviews had some issues with his account, so he could not play those previous tournaments.
Okay.
And Twinda is apparently working as a coach or a mentor for the team because
Hmm.
this makes sense, right? The kind of experience this guy has, I've been following him for quite some time, and this shows, right? The way I8 have been playing, and Reviews as a young lad. I mean, promoting young talent. That is exactly what you
Yeah,
need.
yeah.
To glorify your region or for your region to really grow. And I think Reviews needed some time, and now I believe he's well settled in with the
Hmm,
squad,
hmm.
right? Because the last game, in fact, this particular game, look at him. He was so confident with taking those two knocks. I mean, of course, Seal made really a foolish decision to push without
Yeah,
any
yeah, yeah.
armors and whatever. But again, it comes down to the confidence on this lad, which has been building up, right? It takes
Hmm.
some time to accommodate to the PMPL pressure, right? And now he's done that. He's feeling himself. And of course, another reason why he was not playing, Blade, in fact, was not playing. I think he was in Germany. And now I think they're back to their soil and they're good to go as a team. And well, I8 has to be one of the best teams, rather the best teams representing from the Pakistan region. But hold
Yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah.
we've got a shift over here, and well, T2K lie in the center. Now, this is certainly a different sort of an approach coming out from them, considering the fact that the last game they had an edge-to-edge approach, this time playing around the center.
Exactly. So not really any kind of like a hard shift, so it shouldn't really be hurting the teams a lot much more, considering the fact it wasn't really that hard of a shift. But now Vibes and this is Vibes. Okay, two Vibes going against each other. Praveen out in the open. Oh, that bolt action shot not really connecting. Vibes finding themselves in a bit of a luck over there. But again, the problem is Wizard Vibes do have a real great cover for themselves, but Vibes still need to find one for themselves. So this is where the real problems do really occur for Vibes. But let's just hope that they are able to get out of this tricky situation. They are getting inside the vehicles. This is where all four men are inside one single vehicle. They're going to be traversing for next compound. And well, they have found themselves a secure compound where Jiggle is kind of settled the mark. He's kind of being the scout of the team. And we have been talking about how Jiggle's aggression is over there, right? Being the IGL, he's still the first man to kind of go inside any kind of fights. At the same time, he does a great job scouting as well. But take a look at this now. Clarity Bubble also unleashing hell on the I8. I8, they seem in quite a bit of pickle here.
Yeah, indeed, and it's understandable, right? So a lot of teams are rotating from the southern side, and if you get spotted off guard, that's where you're gonna be taken down. But what I really want to bring to the viewers' attention over here, and also yours, Necro, is how Vibes love that particular compound, right?
Mm.
I think it's for the umpteenth time in history of PUBG Mobile that they've rotated to that same compound, and they've got a lot of chicken dinners, just holding on to that. So if the circle shifts there, they're going to be in a really comfortable position, as
A
Greathead
whole.
certainly isn't, because not only has his health dropped below 20%, his vehicle has also been blown up. So Frag doesn't really need to come in for a revive, as Vibes have got an interesting split going on over here. Two players holding the compounds, two players, or rather, three
Three.
players just outside the hills. This is the moment where I really thought they're gonna go in for some cover, but that was not the case, as
Oh.
Assassin staying out in the open. Now, that's not how assassins are supposed to really operate, but either ways, Team Vibes, they will need some time to recover. I believe they can.
Yeah, they are pretty safe. Even though Assassin went down, they shouldn't really be that big of a deal to get him back up on his feet, and that's going to be happening in no time as well. DRS now, they are on the north side. They're one of those teams that I really have also my eyes locked on. My predictions already went false because Seal9 got eliminated way too early inside the game with some rookie mistakes. But it's fine. We can focus on some other teams now. Now, take a look at this. If we can just have like a little bit of map feed up, as you can see, yup. Now, 7C and Paradox, again, they have kind of collided against each other in the air while they're trying to rotate inside the circle. I feel like in that particular situation, if Paradox could have stayed quiet, that could have been the best thing, but no, instead, Quick gets caught off guard, and well, he's going to be finished instantly. As pretty 7C as well, they do know that it's just like one last man alive for that squad, so you might as well go ahead and finish them off, right? And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create some off angles, making sure at least they can get a bit of visual on Viz, but that's not really happening. Viz doing a great job in survival game, is doing his best to make sure keeping his identity as anonymous as possible, keeping his position as anonymous as possible, but that's not way too anonymous. Well, I8, he's quite lucky to make it past from I8, they're gotta say that, but with that kind of a commotion already being caused, 7C has gathered I8's attention. Uzum does have his eyes locked in on the 7C. That's a little bit of spray coming in through just to scare 7C away and make sure they're not really going to be focusing on I8 anymore.
Well, take a look, and Crypto's got that AUG, certainly a weapon, but not with the right set of attachments, right? I believe I did see a thumb grip on that, and interesting if he is really going in for those closed tools, but maybe could be also the case where he did not find any other attachments. But Playzone indeed has engulfed reviews, and I8, you know, barring those early kills, they're gonna have to play those final circles without him. So that's gonna be a sad thing. But Team Vibes, they're back in action and have gotten a big target over there as Sandesh has fallen. Now, Sandesh has been such an important player for T2K, the way he's been playing, but Legend replies in fashion, just blowing down two of the players of Team Vibes. Now, that certainly leaves Jiggle, rather, just to be alone, caught in a shack, helplessly screaming for help, but no one really is there to hear him out.
Blah blah blah's down such low. He's healing himself just in that little bit of corner that he has himself. But unluckily, Extreme moves away. He didn't really have his eyes kind of dead locked in on the ball, blah blah blah. So he found himself a little bit of movement. So he just got himself in a bit of cover now. But again, blah, blah, blah. That's a questionable decision, my guy. Why would you just move out in open like that? Especially when you do know you're getting pressured from all the across angles. High voltage, they have their eyes dead locked onto him. They're not going to let him go out that easily. But at the same time, he doesn't really have a lot of choices. He needs to move inside because his zone's going to be moving in soon as well. And this is where high voltage as well. Now they're on the move. They need to get inside the circle. But the problem here is DRS as well are in the front lines. And consider the fact that if the zone moves away from them, that can be a little bit more problem. But I'm assuming the zone's probably going to be moving up south or moving up north. My bad. And well, just like that, the vehicle blows up. Blah blah blah. Moves out of that vehicle. I mean, ejects out of that vehicle when he was running, and that's why he gets knocked out. Unfortunate.
Such a hasty decision coming out from blah 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 over there, because he was the one closer to the circle. We'll get back to that later, because Future Station right now is taking a few fights for themselves, as they have taken down a few players of A1 Esports and Paradox. They've finally been put down. But taking the look at the zone shifting, I mean, Jiggle is definitely going to enjoy the center, but all by his lonesome. He's the only one, as Crypto has managed to spot one of those players right in front of him of Dead Eyes, as the grenades are being lobbed in thin air. And, well, Sheep just gets eliminated, wiped out, as Frag and Rated are the two last players surviving.
Well, there you go. The bombardment coming in through from their side, and I8, they're looking for blood. They're out for blood. Deadeye's guys, well, they're just pinned behind this little shack. Fraxer is the man who's in the clotheslines of that shack, and Wall stood ready. So he's trying his best to create an off angle just to be a little unique inside the situation. Uzum does have a little bit of high ground over Deadeye's Fraxer. On the other hand, Raid's position, if it's still not being compromised, he can actually bring in a huge factor inside this entire fighting. He can try to turn the tables a little bit here and there. That's a great bait as well from that buggy. Perfectly played from Crypto. And this is where he also had a little bit of hinge that there might just be someone on the left side. And well, there was Raid.
There indeed was, and this is perfect from I, the way they're approaching, but now a really tough task lies ahead of them. That is, they've got to get inside the circle, and you know, you're talking about the only compound that's well guarded by Clarity Bubble. Now, Johnny did mention his intentions of wanting Clarity Bubble to win, and this is one of those maps where they sort of tend to fairly perform really well, right? They've been avoiding a lot of fights, and you know, rather haven't really gotten on board with kills. But you know, as long as you're getting those 15 position points, I mean, I might crawl my way to victory if that comes down to it. But now T2K and Stalwart, and a sort of a rivalry that was never intended but has been built up. Two of the most amazing teams in the lobby, and they're exchanging grenades right now. But DRS, they're playing it really smart, as Mafia Ninja dashes in, heads on towards Crypto, who's taking some damage. from elsewhere though. Mafia Ninja got wide out in the open and missed a smoke to make sure that he gets him punished, but indeed gets traded himself. It's absolute chaos.
But take a look at
around the lobby.
Yeah, but take a look at the separation as well coming in from the side of 7C. Ale is all the way separated from Smokey. Yeah, Smokey got taken down. But again, Ale's position is still uncompromised. DRS now somewhere down line. They are again on that struggling phase, but it's fine. They have a good risk for themselves. They can try and work around it. If they have smoke grenades, they can probably try and get Mafia Ninja back up on his feet, and that's what's going to be happening in no time soon. But Clarity Bubbly, as you mentioned, they do have the only compound inside the game. And while they might as well do a great job guarding it, just really comes down to this next circle shift, and I feel like that's really not going to be on them. And yes, exactly, the same thing happens. They will need to leave the compound now and move out in the open ground, just like the other soldiers, and that's what they're exactly doing. But the problem is there's one more guy from one more squad. It's going to be I8. It's going to be Johnny right next to them. And well, let's see how they're able to sustain against Johnny.
I mean, right now, Johnny's the one who's going to sustain, right? I mean, he's just that lone wolf out there. But Jiggle, look at him. The hyenas are surrounding and Seal. They are certainly unaware of his position, right? Jiggle still lying prone. And he's got to make a movement, right? He's got to get himself inside the circle. But he's got to make sure that all the players of Seal have passed by, right? The moment that happens, that's where he's going to strike. But T2K, they're coming in from the backlines. It's going to start getting really deadly, as we do have Khan 420 getting a knock on one of those players of DRS. And Nima has indeed fallen, but that might just be a possible start. But Khan 420, he cannot really get complacent about his surroundings, because if he does, he's gonna get knocked out from elsewhere.
Ale's position still being uncompromised. He has a little bit of cover for himself, so that's at least looking good for now. AJ being taken down with that wonderful nade. Trades happening back and forth. The rest should be here again. But take a look at what Mafia Ninja and Nemo are doing, and this is what exactly needs to man advantage inside the game. But Johnny being spotted out with that initial push, but still, he managed to grief the game of DRS. Mafia Ninja is well taken down. Now it's all down to Galzin and his teammate Nima. Galzin's down low, so I feel like challenging in this fight in such low HP wouldn't really be that good of a decision. But with those initial nades coming in through from DRS, and well, this is what we know them for, the accuracy with those utilities. And well, you can always trust DRS no matter what kind of day it is.
Again, Johnson not really going in for the heal, but you know, that's Des talking out. But right now we've got T2K going up against the Mongolians. We've got Seal right in front of us, but mind you, Jiggle still lies prone. His position still uncompromised as Hustler. Well, he's going to lob those grenades, and CEO goes falling down, but Jane does respond with another nade of his own, as Jane gets traded off over there, but still somehow T2K have managed to survive. Now this might be the perfect opportunity for Jiggle to strike. The movement he's made his position compromised, as Legend and Sandesh are pushing at his direction and will take him down. But look at Ale, he's made that survival game so strong. But now DRS, they're going to be marching at him. Sandesh from the backlines is taking so much shot as Ale. He still wants to trade this fight off, as Galzin is on pretty low HP. Can he survive this one? Galzin needs to heal pretty fast. But where's the cover from backlines? How on earth is Ale even alive, Necro?
I have no clue. TDK from the backlines with the high ground. Kind of helping Ale a little bit in that situation. DRS, well, again, getting griefed. So many games being griefed because of those third parties, man. Sometimes they can be really annoying. And Ale finally, well, this is his go call. He goes inside for the push. And Wally's down quite low. Galzin, though, it gets taken out. The kill will be confirmed as well. And AJ just couldn't do anything rather than just watching his teammate fall down and go down just like that. Because if AJ moves out of his cover, that means it's pretty much game over for him, because TDK will have a clear line of sight onto him. Well, now DRS, being the only team who has the kind of a man advantage inside this situation. No, actually, TDK as well. They have 3 players alive, so this is kind of like even-Steven situation between DRS and TDK. And then Ale is the only man who's kind of like that lonesome survivor, trying to rack up as many points as he can. And well, 7C, gotta thank the Ale.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, the way he's improved over time, right?
Oh my!
I used to remember that early nervous Ale who used to mess up. Now look at him, so confident, taking down the big giants. But Nima, however, finds Sandesh and will take him down. Now, this is a big catch. And this might just help DRS in sealing the deal. Because if Ale does not, cause any more commotion, I think ideally it should go towards DRS, considering the way they are taking control over the map. Now, Suyog and Legend, the two players alive, Legend does have that mind, being the IGL, the way he's been playing, coming in from PN Crew, he's been phenomenal this season. But right now, he's got to break past his limits. That was ought to happen, right? DRS are gonna punish Ale for that. And of course, you're gonna stay in that little shack. And yes, he's alive. He's got some, anti-bomb suit over there. For some reason, he still breathes.
How is he alive? That nade literally crawled right inside that shack and he's still alive? Ale starts getting inhuman at this point. And while Ale does realize that critical rotation coming in through from the side of DRS, the goal call has been made as they find the opening onto TDK. Suyog's down. It's all down to the IGL Legend. And well, finally the nade connects. Mafia Ninja's going to be having a little bit of smile on his face after that one. But Legend now, he needs to make some legendary plays happen from this hilltop that he has for himself. He does have the high ground inside this. But again, looking to convert into kill and what's going on? He's going... What? They were going to pan him. What? Okay, that's
all right.
Okay, Fixes, you talk about Masala. That's a lot of Masala right there. Handle it, bro.
That's too much to digest. Honestly, that's too much masala to digest. It's really spicy. And how on earth could it be even better? It's in Miramar. Now, I'm really getting worried about, tomorrow morning. But for now, DRS have managed to secure themselves beautiful chicken dinner. An iconic one at perhaps the way they went after T2K. Every single thing they did was absolutely, bent to perfection, right? Even, Galton making that push, he was just unlucky, and Ale was just a little bit better, but they recovered, Mafia Ninja did compensate for that rotation and an effort to, to span them out. It's a message delivered, right? Yeah. We're the reigning champions, do not mess in our turf. And, well, for what we've seen, T2K, they say challenge accepted. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot to talk about this match. Of course, the desk will discuss more over it, but after this short little break.
All right, and the Nepali domination continues on fourth right here at PMPL South Asia Season 4. This is the third week, first day of the league plays, and what a play indeed this has been from the side of this team of DRS.
It was an incredible match, and it was an incredible performance from the lads, and I guess revenge is a dish best served cold, and I don't know why they were trying to warm it up with a pan, but the intention was good, and they employed some tactic to that as well. They threw a nade, hoped he was going to be low, and then charged in with the pan, but unfortunately for them, Legend had a bit more HP than they thought.
Yeah, that's the first thing, and well, I'm again happy. See, spoilers, you get it here. DRS and T2K both are supposed to be in top 2. Yes, they were.
So, and they remain.
They remained there. And Crypto, oh my god, i8 had a really good game, right?
Yeah.
For them just coming onto the sidelines of Crypto. 4 kills, 681 damage. Talking about not just this team, Clarity Bablu as well, they survived really good in this map of Miramar. Pretty decent, not exactly good, but pretty decent survival start coming out. And 7C as well, so that was really, really good.
Exactly. It was an amazing performance from these two teams, but taking a look at the head-to-head stats of Train to Kill and DRS, What an incredible performance, and look how close it got. Train to Kill were able to secure so many kills, 14 kills, 26 points, even though the tally goes in the favor of T2K. DRS, they get the pleasure of having the chicken dinners for themselves, and well, this is the league play days, so no $1,000 this time, but still, the chicken dinner, I mean, itself, it holds a pride if you win it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and Yalzin's
It's the bragging
dance as well.
rights.
Yeah, you get an opportunity to dance on camera.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But all right, talking about this one match, right? Highest kills we see by AJ and Crypto as well. I mean, everyone that you see in this list has 4 kills for themselves, and Crypto coming up with the highest damage, though. That's really good. We see AJ on the highest kill number because of his team getting chicken dinner.
Yeah.
That's just there. And if we talk about most utilities, even though that's not a huge number, but still it is there. 14 utilities used by Nima, which indeed is really good. And you know, these utilities kind of just AJ and Nima, these comes down to those smokes as well, those nades that they were using against 7 Seals, like something, those numbers were increasing by that.
Absolutely. As we move on forth, we are going to be brought on with the match ranking, where it was only a 1-point difference between these two teams, as we did have Train to Kill leading, even though they did not have a chicken dinner, but certainly the kill ratio working in that team's favor. On the other front, as you guys were just mentioning, I8 had a really aggressive game right off the bat itself. I mean, just 2 placement points, but 11 kills to this team.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say, right? Classic I8. That's their style. I mean, they will be out for blood every time they drop from the airplane. And I mean, I have to say though, 7Cs, I like this turnaround from this team. Looking more comfortable. The casters pointed out, Ale, he keeps looking better and better with every single day that goes by. And in this game, he was looking really good. But holding your own against an entire team of DRS, that is never going to happen. I mean, I don't think it is something that we see every day.
But he held that track really well.
He held it for a while, yeah.
True.
I mean, talking about Ale, it's just, you know, today has been the day of people just, you know, being ghost overall. If you talk about the first game of Erangel, right? Just surviving instinct as for how long it can take you, like how far it can take you when it comes to those fighting stances. And in this game as well, like Ale did perfectly good. He knew if he'll come out onto the back lines, it's T2K. If he comes out on front lines, it's DRS. So he just had to stay there. Objective, mission, survive.
That it is, and that certainly worked in the team's favor as they walked away with a lot of points. But let's of course summarize all the fights that took place throughout this entire game through the Oppo F19 Pro moments right now.
And I mean, talking about those moments, this is where it all started. Seal 9, S9 getting eliminated by the hands of the players of I8. Now, this is going to be really interesting because I8, I mean, both the teams, in fact, were forced into this fight sort of unknowingly. And it was a hasty decision for S9 to sort of charge in the way they did when they know that they're going to be sitting at a disadvantage. Once your first player goes down, you're going to try and slow things out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, I8, to be honest, in these kind of fights, they were looking really good as they were just, you know, charging out on a lot of teams. But well, they were being charged upon, not exactly charged upon, but they were being pressurized from those long distances, which again I would say is their way of playing. If you're just not taking fights against them on long distances, well, they know how to find the perfect cover and they know how to just, you know, rush overall. In those kind of scenarios, if they want to just, you know, play against your minds. And then, you know, so many vehicle blasts just coming out. And there was that one as well in which I guess it was blah blah blah. Yeah, this lad just, you know, using that truck and was taken down in the open.
And talk about getting taken down. I mean, Stalwart Esports, we did not expect them to be a part of those fights. I mean, the distance, and you know the players. You see, in fact, multiple players that will be putting their crosshairs upon you. So it was kind of an awkward spot for them, but they managed. We know it, this team. Also, I have to say, I mean, Bubblu Clarity actually did really well for themselves in this game, considering how their day was going, how the rest of the matches have been so far. Had DRS not been there, they could have capitalized, but still, it was a decent game from their side.
Yeah, it certainly was. It certainly was just, you know, a really decent game when it comes on to. In fact, Clarity Bubblu, you know, right? It was the way they were just, you know, finding out their opponents. They played smartly. It was not aggressive. It was not you know, defensive approach, but they were playing smartly when it came down to the fights, and they just, you know, got a good utilization of it.
Yeah, and the hill they were holding was the same sort of the ridge that they were holding. I'm sorry, was the same position that DRS actually used to delay the players of T2K from entering the circle, and it was so important. That trade of positions was so important because now the terrain in these final fights becomes crucial, right? It becomes key. DRS, they had clear vision of the ridge that T2K were about to climb, the horizon sort of, if you will, that they were about to come from. And the last player from 7C, we see him in the shack and we see him getting blown up. So DRS, they had the advantage of positioning themselves in a certain way, and that allowed them to sort of put a lot of pressure on the players of T2K as well. Plus, I mean, if you have all players, until Ale actually took one of them down, it was going to be a fun game if you were a player for DRS.
Galson can be a good person with emotes, I'm pretty sure.
He is a good person.
With emotes.
Yeah, definitely.
The first part I know, the second part with emotes, I mean, that's what I was talking about. But yeah, talking about the damage draft, right? You see, in Miramar, it's rare that there are teams going down with the 0 kills and high damage, right? It just happens because if you're just getting chance, yeah, I get it. For a few teams it happens because you might just be giving damage, but when the person knocks down, there's a ridge just covering them. But in the latest season, I'm talking about team like Vibes, right? Because they have 0 kills, but they have 3 to 7 damage. The impact was kind of unknown when it comes down to the game.
Exactly. And that, of course, can be then moved on across, because at least the placement points certainly worked in favor for Vibe, right? Because on the other front, when you talk about the teams that are on the far end of the spectrum, we've got Paradox once again not being able to get that work for themselves. On the other front, I mean, this is with Vibes. Look at that. A team that we have seen being so aggressive, but this time around, sadly, not even being able to work towards those kill departments.
I mean, but hopefully we're going to see them do that in the last game of the day. Wizard Vibes, we know this team is incredible, and I guess they learned their lesson from that first week. Now they take the league play days just to qualify, and then Super Weekend is where we actually see them shine. So I'm going to be waiting for this team to show up in the Super Weekend again. Them and Dead Eyes, guys.
So true indeed. As we talk about that Super Weekend, the final Super Weekend for PMPL Season 4, we need to move on to the storyboard, where, of course, once again, the storyline remains the same. Top 16 will be moving on, and in that top 16, there's still quite a lot of contestation.
Yeah, there indeed is. But DRS, it's just think that DRS has made a really good safety spot for themselves right now, even though they won't be just playing this game, the next one, I8 as well. So these teams are just there, 56, 44 points. ZEUS, well, there's a chance to get in top 3. They did not play the previous game. Now they'll be coming up, so that they can just get a pretty good hold for themselves, to maybe reclaim that top position that they were just a part of. But T2K is going to be a team that's just going to be right there with them, because they are playing this game. So 58 points for T2K. We'll have to see how T2K versus ZEUS happens. So
DRS and I8 are going to be sitting out along with Stalwart Esports and Vibes from the next match, and it's going to be really interesting because DRS and I8 are pretty close to each other on the top second, and as the Ocean said, this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for the players of ZEUS. But I want to talk about these teams: Venom Legends, PN Crew, Dead Eyes, guys. They want to make sure, these teams need to make sure that they at least hit at least 20 points with this game. And surprise, surprise, Stalwart Esports.
I said today after the first game, right? We can see potentially one big name, not in the Super.
To be honest, I thought you were hinting towards Bablu Clarity, because they were struggling as well. Yeah,
they'll do good.
They'll do good. All right. Well, the Wizard certainly has spoken, but on the other front, I mean, Stalwart, we can maybe anticipate this team to come back.
This is the thing. This is the thing, right? If today's last game does not go good for them, tomorrow they will have to play, in order to be in top 16.
Yeah.
And so this is why I'm saying this. We haven't seen this team playing ever under pressure. So I don't know how they perform under pressure, right? Is it good or is it bad? Because this team has always been in a really, really good pace for themselves.
Also, I just want to say Ocean just went against his word and gave us spoilers now at this point. Just saying.
That is true. That is so true indeed. But again, I mean, when you talk about Stalwart, let's bring up a few more stats, right? Because as you guys were just mentioning, based on the stats that they've been able to give us in the previous games, right here we do have League Week.
So this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. In last week, League Week, right? They had a chicken dinner by this time. They had really good games, and the final game also, they were just going on to dominate. So overall, they had 3 chicken dinners, if I'm not wrong, right? In League Week last time. That was obviously 2-day affair. But today, when it comes down to just 1 game remaining, look at their average of 4 matches versus their average of 3 matches now.
They had 13 kills per game average for 4 games on the first day of League play, week 2. And now third week, Are we watching the same team, guys? Is this the same team?
That's exactly what I'm saying. So we haven't seen them play under pressure. This might just be the first time.
Yeah.
Well. Once again, I mean, we do know the players. We've got Action, we got Pika. I mean, these dudes, we have seen them in history as well, perform under pressure and perform really well. But hopefully, they do bring up their game in this final game, because there's only one final game remaining for today, and that, of course, will take us to Erangel.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Last rank. Yeah. That's FS is the safest bet in this game. You know they're gonna do good. But with ZEUS Esports returning, I hope this time, I mean, as I said, just continuing the momentum, we're gonna see them build up something in this last final wrangle. And also, it's going to be really interesting to see Stalwart Esports, as we were just talking about. The Ocean said that we have never seen them play under pressure. Now it's going to be time to watch this team.
True.
All right, Ocean, any prediction from you, mate? What team would you want to pick?
I have 2-3 things in my mind. That is FS definitely going to be in top 5 for sure, right? We see that.
Right.
ZEUS versus T2K, because one is at first position, other has just dropped down to first position because they were not playing the previous game. So that's just one thing. And Stalwart, yeah, I have hopes for them. This is my first time seeing them play under pressure. So I would love to see that.
Let's find out. Let's get the game started off. It is time to move on to, of course, the final bros. That's going to be none other than Pain Fixist and Necro to take you through this final game.
And with so much discussion around Stalwart Esports, I think the pressure has definitely, increased tenfold. Right now, the world is watching, because Stalwart certainly had been invisible throughout all the games that they've played so far, and now heading into the final game of Erangel. Let's be honest, Necro, they have it in them, right?
Yeah.
It's just that one good game that they need to bounce right back in. I mean, if you can remember, in those last league days, that one chicken dinner that they did get 20 kills, and in which Action absolutely went mental. I mean, that is exactly the kind of an Erangel game Star would need to, make a comeback. But what I did see, surprisingly, happening around in the probabilities, right? That's business with vibes. Now they're bringing that consistency claim from Sandhawk towards Erangel now on that second spot over there in terms of how they've been playing Erangel so far.
Exactly. I mean, Visitor Vibes, again, they have also been one of those teams that are really consistent. I feel like at this point, no matter what map it is, other than Sanhok, right, they just have been so consistent throughout. Even on Sanhok, sometimes they had their poppy moments.
Every time, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, again, it just really comes down, if you talk about Sonic, it's just kind of like a whole different discussion about itself, like how the map can be random sometimes. But for now, we're going to be heading inside Erangel, and the plane fly path is going to be starting from Lipovka, ending towards military base. Again, quite an interesting plane fly path. Teams like who do want to go towards Severny and stuff, especially teams like P and Crew, they're going to be having a little bit of struggle, at least in the initial phases of the game. They will need to at least drop somewhere around. They need to get themselves some vehicles, and then maybe they can go towards that. But yeah, again, getting back to the rivalry now, what thing really blows over here is that DRS is not going to be playing inside. That means we're not going to be seeing that rivalry continue, at least for today.
Yeah, and more interestingly, I'm going to be interested to see which team really dropped off at military base, considering the fact that I8 are going to be sitting out of this one. So, considering this particular flight path trajectory, well, this is sort of anticipated, right? Now, what would really get more exciting over here if two of the teams decide to drop at I8's drop location? Right? That's gonna increase the excitement right off the bat and give us a reason to be happy about early game fights. That's what we absolutely love and adore. And by the looks of it, no one seems to be dropping over there. Everyone wants to take it really safe, and I think it's certainly understandable right now, considering it's the final league days. I mean, you either qualify or you just sit out of this tournament. Your journey is over. That being said, we've got Bishal. Oh, all right, he tried to get towards Yasnaya. Indeed, he's dropped off at Yasnaya along with the players of C9. Now, what on earth is happening, Necro? Is Myunki gonna be taken down? Yes!
He does!
Insane!
What? Look at this parkour as well. What's going on, man? Myunki literally fell down like a kite. Have you ever seen like a kite just falling down with accidentally
being cut off?
Yeah, just when your kite just get cut off, and just like the way it falls down. That's how Myunki fell off. Such an unfortunate starting again for a team like CL9 Fixes. And, well, if this kind of a string of unfortunate moment continues, I don't really know what to say, Fixes. Like, what do you, like, my expectations for CL9, especially when the League One, you know, like, it all started in the Week 1 as well, they were looking pretty solid. And then what just happened?
I mean, right now in this particular situation, long parachuting is what happened, right? Where
Yeah.
they should have actually opted for vehicles like Raw did. I mean, look at them. You know, all of those players are well stationed inside Yasnaya. They've gotten their guns,
Oh, wow.
in which they did take down those players. But we are looking at a collision course, and Inky, he's on the run.
Nice. Good.
But PN Crew, I mean, I like this purge of confidence from their side. I mean, heading over towards Severny and getting some players down early on. Now, that's really good. What I really would have loved if they just, did flatten out those tires of the vehicle that they did abandon, sort of trying to immobilize the players of C-Line. But either ways, we do see Senior heading down, and look at Blend along with one of those players of C-Line. I think that's Amra in the nearby vicinity, and PN Crew now have really decided to sort of head in towards their own drop location, that's towards Severny. But look at the circle.
Level 3
And
helmet.
yeah, all right,
Already.
leaving level 3 helmet apart, look at that circle. I mean, why? It's almost for the third time today. A Western Circle again.
Yeah, that's why I kind of like low-key ignored it. It's just we've been seeing this kind of circle
It's
since a long
reality,
time. We have seen this circle in the past, like almost. I feel like this is the third time, literally, that we're seeing the same kind of circle at this point in time. And well, yeah, just over here now. What interesting thing that can possibly happen is the final circle. Where does it pan out? And most of the chances of it panning out in the open grounds near Gatka and stuff like that, that's probably the highest chance where it can actually go towards. But what we really haven't seen is like a dedicated Brit circle. Like those are one of the like most rarest sights that I personally want to witness. Maybe this game can be one of those. And because of the fact that, again, take a look at Seal9 Fixes on the map. Amra and Sinor, they're so separated out from rest of each other. And I feel like, especially when you know you're the only two players alive, this is not a situation you want to be in.
Well, I mean, right now things have started getting from bad to worse for C-Line. Right now, they're sort
Yeah.
of trying to mitigate the damages, and I believe they can make it safely towards Georgia Paul. Now that we decided, okay, guys, we out of here. Raw, we mean no harm. Let us just walk away into our own drop location, and we'll be good. But Senior, he's being really adamant.
Oh,
But ably, apparently, has spotted out one of those players of A1 Esports. I mean, did knock him down though. Now, A1 Esports, well, the team that won the chicken dinner in the first game of Erangel in a really fantastic manner, now seemed shaken.
definitely do. And it's an Einbo as well. Such an unfortunate starting for this team. Just in the end, I feel like for all these kind of early frags, the main thing it all started was from that plane fly path. Just kind of like an awkward plane
Right.
fly path. Each and every single team just got caught off guard. Unless the team like ZEUS, they had their drop like as a shelter, and it was right above it, so at least they didn't have any kind of points getting that loot. And then now going inside forward. And what's going on? Are they? They're just playing against each other at this point. They're like, all right, we're not really finding anyone else to chase. We might as well just ram our vehicles into each other and have a little bit of fun time inside the game. But I do like what ZEUS are doing, just scouting the areas out, making sure no one's even in like the nearby vicinities, and that's what they're doing for now, trying to find themselves a comfortable compound. They might know, yeah, they have pretty much known that A1 Esports do like to drop in this kind of like the nearby vicinities. That's why they're probably just traversing across, making sure there's no one around. And once they do, I mean, ZEUS at this point in time, they're out for blood.
You know, one thing for sure that we 100% confirmed of is ZEUS have opted for a really early rotation, right? They've got the bare minimum loot, and they're sort of heading towards the centers, which sort of puts me into wondering if they've got good scopes on there, because that's what you need. And Well, Suyok, 64 kills for this lad has definitely amped up the game, right? Ever since he's joined T2K, and they've always been so good. Like T2K, I mean, they're leading the standings at where it really matters the most, and DRS, I mean, did just throw a little bit of salt on their wounds, and I'm pretty sure T2K, they're gonna answer back in fashion, in style, because every single player is a death machine, right? All you need to do is have them triggered. And amongst the tippity top of them all lies Sandesh. I mean, this one player has been so impressive. I mean, words fail to describe the sort of plays that this player can pull off. You know, like talking about those previous renditions of PMPL, we did talk a lot about Mongolians. You know, they were all flashy, they were all really good, but we will get back to them, because we've got some Aussie action, as Jade has apparently spotted out. Wiz was completely oblivious about his surroundings, and well, looks like someone has been punished.
Well, presence of mind question mark inside the game, and well, he just gets caught off guard. I feel like at the point when you're out in the open like that, you need to at least like look around, check around what's, or just separating out from the rest of your team this early in the game, especially when you don't really know what's exactly going on around them. Yeah, I do understand you're there to scout, but still, that's kind of a questionable way to scout as well. But with that being said, Sandesh again does spot out the entire squad of Venom Legends. They are taking a few shots here and there, but considering the fact that he's the only one inside this area, does realize that maybe staying a little safe and, well, calling for backup is probably the best thing they can do. And Venom Legends realize that. They do realize the backup's here, and that's why they're now pretty much on the move again. And TDK Legend, he has spotted one player out of Venom Legends. Steel Shot is the man who's kind of out in the open. I mean, yeah, he's not out in the open exactly. He does have those little bit of trenches for himself, but again, the surrounding is pretty much just in middle out of nowhere, and he needs to find a safe way to go back to his teammates.
But he said he does.
Oh no,
right
this
now?
is not good.
Oh,
Exactly
so
what I was
bad.
saying.
Yeah, and you know, T2K is one of those teams that will punish you for making such a bad movement. And look at Legend, he's already taken the plunge, and well, he'll get the better out of them, right? Now, in the meanwhile, ZEUS, they've taken the center, they've gone against Dead Eyes, have already wiped out Shifuser's existence over there. And this is where, you know, ZEUS have started, you know, doing this from, I think, the last couple of weeks, where they're going for those early central zone takes, and well, they've managed the chicken dinners out of that one, so I'm not going to be surprised. Last time it was around that mansion area, and this time, however, it's around Gatka. But I have a really bad feeling, Necro, is that this circle might just enter
that.
out right in the open.
Fixes, two of the good teams, man. This is what exactly we're talking about. We're literally having the conversation about Visitor Vibes and then Stalwart Esports, and well, again, this happens. The fight between these two guys. And Stalwart Esports, well, they're on a rampage over here against Visitor Vibes. I feel like that's the second man that they have able to kind of manage to take out now at this point. The kill should be confirmed as well without any trouble. And yes, now with that being said, Visitor Vibes already down to just a two-man squad, and that's going to be hurting them quite a lot in those future games. No, actually, they're just down to that one last man, live Reaper bot. And we'll consider the fact that now Pika is out in the open. He just was not able to get back into cover in the nick of time. And well, this is where the karma hits them back again. And Stalwart Esports, well, Pika was pretty oblivious of what's exactly happening around him. And well, TDK, they are easily able to capitalize on that fact.
100%. Now, T2K, considering they've got that high crown for them, and they're gonna provide some resistance for Stalwart, but at the same time they've got to make sure that they enter the circle. Now this is where T2K have again changed how they approach the game, right? Playing from the edges, as a lot of teams have already you know, gone with the zone shift and have managed to take their own respective position. Now, where does that leave teams like Paradox, T2K, and of course Stalwart in? Right, the eastern sides are still open. A few compounds are still up for grabs. But now we might witness some vehicular fights, as Suyog is being chased by two of those players of Paradox. who apparently have decided to go their own merry ways. As
Hmm.
T2K, they somehow do want to engage. They want to take this fight. They're
Of course.
hungry for blood.
Yeah, it does make sense in this kind of a scenario. TDK. Oh, that's a great shot! Again, though, but again, the replies there, even from their side, and, well, Paradox are like, we're not really going to be falling that easily. Ezreal goes down. Hazard as
Wow.
well gets caught off guard in that rotation. Quite a risky rotation and a desperate one as well. And that's not going to be working out for them this time at least. TDK able to successfully take them down easily. But again, this kind of gets me back to conversation as Wizard Vibes not only have Reaper bot, and well, if we talk about Reaper himself, I mean, only me and Ocean can remember this, like that 1v4 moment in PMNC that happened, that Reaper did from the water. It just got us freaked out.
Oh, I remember. I remember that. That was absolutely ludicrous. I mean, who does that? You need really massive balls to pull off a play like that, right? Now,
Yeah.
Clarity Boplu. In the meanwhile, I mean, I don't know, man. This is one of those teams that has, pulled off some really good plays,
Mhm.
but at the same time, they've pulled off some really, really questionable plays that you would not want to do. And one of their biggest problems so far has been that adaptive drop location change that they have had to do in the map of Erangel, where they were just thwarted off by C9. But now, again, there you go. The woes sort of increase as one of those players have been knocked out. Now, where does that leave us? Look at the zone, right? It's gone directly towards the Gatka area, and here comes, well, Havoc towards his teammate, and they've not been damaged, right? But they're gonna make a move. Now, a Gatka circle is what we had really anticipated. That's something that we really got. ZEUS taking that center. I mean, nothing really out of ordinary has happened so far. But look at this replay. Well, a really valiant effort from Hazard. Did manage to get that one knock, but was traded right after.
Exactly, and well, this replay as well, that's absolutely insane. Just cutting that rotation off easily, Paradox. Well, sometimes those kind of brave rotations not really work out, guys, all the time. You gotta be aware of the surroundings. You gotta make sure you're clearing the pathway that at least where you're trying to make the rotation off. At least you're having a rough vision of how you're gonna execute it properly. Paradox. Not really aware of surrounding. That's why they get caught off guard like that. And Quita's only the last man alive for that squad again. Consider the fact to take a look at the center of the circle as well. Now, ZEUS is the only team who are in center. But now take a look at this. Venom Legends. There is one more team in the nearby vicinity. Same thing goes with P and Crew. Seal9 is the team in the nearby vicinity. Amra is going to be the one. He's trying to scout out the area. His plan is to go and get that. But it's not going to be that easy because the PN Crew lads are spread throughout.
Pretty interesting. I mean, well, I'm really excited, rather keen to see where the next circle shift goes, right, Necro? Because that's going to decide the fate of so many teams. That's where the bloodbath is going to start
there you go.
beginning, and that's nice go ball. Look at the set of teams on towards that south and southwest and the western side. They've got to all move in and at the same time. Now, T2K, I mean, you call it fortunate, you call it luck, you call it skills, you call it prediction. Either ways, they've such a good control over the eastern side of map. I mean, if they want to establish, they can definitely get that. They've got a few ridges to play around with, and the only thorn I believe could be is, of course, Reaper Bot, who is a lone man survivor, and he's not gonna make any big moves. But big move happening over here. Dead Eyes, all right, already a
Oh
skirmish
my.
against Team ZEUS. Now this is revenge time, right? And well, Icy's been taken down. Sure, however, this firing from the backlines hasn't found any success.
I don't understand why the cavalry is so late to arrive from the side of ZEUS. It should have been really early because I'm pretty sure Icy heard Deadeye's guys approaching him, but still, ZEUS were kind of far away from that initial compound. But again, ZEUS are on a comeback. Godless managed to take one out. And again, he got himself that kill confirmed as well. On top, he's trying to get the res back on Reddit, sir. But Zol is not going to let that happen. Come on, Zol is not a man who's going to kind of spare any kind of mercy on you guys, and well, that's exactly what happens. Zal takes the final man down, and that's it for Deadeyes, guys. Well, that's what you get for pushing against the gods.
Yep, and again, you know, the gods have been injured right now, just playing by 2 players, which could possibly have been, well, the chicken dinner has certainly, the chances have slimmed down just a little bit. And right now, I mean, the center is still exposed, right? The eastern side is being taken over by T2K. Look at that spread, you know, on that minimap feed that we have for ourselves. You know, just informing the viewers. But Stalwart just playing around those trenches. They've gotten that 1 knock, 3 kills to their name. I must say, you know, considering the run that they've been having so far, I think they've been playing really decent in this particular game.
You're talking about C9?
Is the vehicle stock?
I think so. Yeah.
So much for a Tesla, right?
There you go. Finally. Get in it.
Oh.
Oh, he's stuck. A little bit more. Okay, but hold on. What's going on over here? He's spraying. He was just kind of like trying to find some kills through that spray. Did manage to connect a few shots onto them. 420 boy has been knocked out with such kind of an insane amount of damage being dealt onto him. He was not really able to sustain it. But Stalwart Esports again is going to be taking Sonor down from CL9, and this is the exact thing I was talking about. It should be confirmed over here, and getting back to the convo that I was having. Again, CL9, they were just so separated out. I don't understand. 2 players alive. You guys should stay with each other, just like how ZEUS is playing right now. But that's not how they played it out. Instead, they just decided to do whatever they wanted to do. But now, over here, you have Clarity Bubble. 420 boy knocked out. Smoke is there just to give him a temporary cover, making sure he's at least staying alive. He can crawl back to Zuban. Zuban should be getting the res back upon the 420 boy. He does seem quite set. Another smoke being lobbed in just to refresh the timing on it. Take a look at that. Anubis is going to be finding 17 Memo. Ale is right on top, and while Ale is going to be taking him down, that's going to be it for that squad. For taking a look at another fight that's happening. Future Station versus Venom Esports. 2 Bangladeshi teams going head-to-head against each other.
Yep, and they're in for some blood, right? Dante being the final survivor. This team did get that first chicken dinner of the evening, and after that, we've seen that little dip in the performance. Now, in search to sort of regain their glory, their pride, they are in such dire conditions with Dante just being the lonesome survivor. And Future Station, I mean, they've had better Erangel days than today, right? I mean, they had better stats, but this time they want to change their fate.
He
and
walks
the
into it.
Yes, he indeed did,
No.
and that was paranoia, fear setting in his mind, because a lot of nades were being lobbed at his direction. He wanted to escape from that one little room that he was in, and eventually just walked into his own death, as like Wadu does as he goes up against the gods themselves. Y'all holding the flag. Yes, he managed to get that beautiful Ruthless, which his weapons will instantly want to back off into safety, but the doors.
Oh, the repositioning though, that's a great kind of mind. The presence of mind being shown from the side of ZEUS. Instantly backed off. They were like, all right, let them have their sweet little time as much as they want. I'm going to go back, fall back, as I've already found myself the entry. And that's the best thing you can do in that position. And well, guess what? Nade from Zal confirms the kill on Wadu. Havoc now is the only one in the close contentions. Aussie is down low, so there's no way he's going to be chiming inside a fight, at least for now. ZEUS have brought themselves quite a decent amount of time. Zal now, again, he's not going to be stopping the nade parade over here. Keeps on lobbing in those nades. Does have the Molotov in his hands as well. Godless is going to be doing the same thing. But up till now, with those nades, they haven't really found any kind of critical connections. High Voltage as well, realizing the same thing. They're doing the same thing as well. But the problem is the smokes. There's just like so... They're blocking so much vision that High Voltage can have over ZEUS, but those smokes are just well placed.
Well, indeed they are. Right now, I mean, High Voltage have really done a pretty decent job, but now they've got to do a very daunting task, that is get inside the circle, and so they definitely aren't letting that to happen, and they're just burning, incinerating their players one after the other, as this time the hunters might just get hunted, right? Clarity Buffy, they're waiting wide for Godless, who was apparently spotted out. Khan 420 getting shot from elsewhere by Zibian. Godless needs to be really, really careful right now with every single movement being taken. Dean Wolf has been spotted out right in the open, but this is where 420 is going really aggressive, and that's it for the gods themselves, as they had been injured earlier, and the final blow being delivered by Bablu Clarity and resulting in their fall.
Exactly. Unfortunately, ZEUS had to recover from that little ridge that they had, the little dip, and this is where Bablu had the high ground onto themselves, and also at the same time, the separation helping them out quite a lot. ZEUS could really focus on so many factors at the same time, but Stalwart Esports, they have realized raw, they're quite hurt, and they're going to be peppering some salt onto it, those salt onto injuries. And again, top 2A now. Do you like how kind of safe even Stalwart Esports are playing? They're not really overcommitting, even though they do know someone's knocked it inside. The main priority over here. And yes, the circle shift coming in right on the Stalwart Esports. But again, we do know none of these teams are actually going to be pushing in the center of the circle, because if you're going to be pushing in the center of the circle at this late in the game, it just means you're going to be the center of attraction as well.
Well, right now, I mean, the way the circle has shifted again, I think this is where Stalwart might just get the win for themselves, right? But for that, they've got to deal with trying to kill first, right? And the form that these players are running through, the anger that's coursing their veins right now, TTK definitely C9 unstoppable over here as Sandesh. I mean, he's shooting with that mini as if it were an M4. I mean, look at him tapping through Ayush. That might possibly be the worst decision he's ever taken to peak. But we do know about T2K and PN Crew, that rivalry that has been building up for quite some time. Now, this is the moment. PN Crew have been having a really good third super weekend, rather the league days, but certainly for one thing for sure, Necro, I mean, the chances of qualifying to the finals are definitely slim, as Sada will drop a beautiful grenade onto it. So players of Team Clarity, Bablu, and 2 players have fallen down, leaving Khan 420 to be the last solo player alive.
420 boy has a lot of pressure on his shoulder. He has a lot of burden on his shoulders. He needs to carry his team to victory. He's taking in the res on to one player. It's going to be Zubian for now. Wolf should be back up on his feet, though, anytime soon as well. Doesn't really seem like for now they're being the one who are focused, at least for now. They're looking quite safe, but 20 kills, Sandesh spots out the players of PN Crew. Game should be really important for them. And Sandesh, wow, that's a great spot from Blend. And while this time Sandesh is not really going to be blending inside the smoke, instead he gets spotted, he gets taken out. Suyog is there, but in the clotheslines. He's going to be trying to get the res back onto him. Sandesh is a man you do not really want to lose if you're especially in the shoes of TDK. But guess what? The push coming in from the side of Stalwart Esports not really working out this time. Raw, they are going to be shutting it down instantly. Apex as well falling down. Now he's just down to that one last man alive. It's going to be Top. We do know what Top is capable of. We have seen him time and times in the kill leaders, and he can make it probably happen again.
He certainly can. I mean, if you can get that res back onto its action. Now, the only big question will be how on earth are they going to enter inside the circle? They've got an airdrop to work around with, but the moment they try to head in, that's where Jane is having that perfect angle. But T2K, they've got their own troubles, because they've also got to enter the circle by themselves. But Sandesh apparently really close to where Blend is, right out in the wild, one with the nature. As a you, she's just playing around, that little hilly ridge that he's got. But now PN Crew and T2K, this is one of those fights that I really want to witness. But now Top, of course, has taken down the final player, and well, of course, we've lost out on one more squad. That's Raw being eliminated from the game, as PN Crew and T2K are locking horns against each other. A 4v3 situation, and a Yush on really low HP.
What's really standing out for me is that Clarity Bubble still have 3 players alive, and well, just as I say that, I instantly jinx it as well. One man goes down, instantly gets confirmed as well. That's unfortunate, but take a look at this. Another fight panning out. Sandesh goes down. That's a great nade coming in from the side of Slayer. That nade's gonna be slaying down TDK. 2 players falling down. It's all down to Jane now. Jane has been in these kind of uncomfortable situations in the past as well. He definitely does have a caliber, especially a team like PN Crew. Jane can make at least some clutches happen with PN Crew. It does seem like inside this week 3, they have stepped things up quite a lot. They are doing a great job, even in that survival game. Also, sometimes in the firepower as well, they're showing themselves up. TDK gathered up in a single spot. P and Crew, it seems like they're coming short in those utilities. They're trying to get some Molotovs in as well. No connections. They're quite shorthand.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's sort of the waiting game, right? Who gets the first knock? Now, I kind of do not like T2K's positioning right now
Yep,
because they
exactly.
might get sandwiched any single moment. Meanwhile, having spotted Apex out, he's gonna make no mistake in just wiping him off. And Stalwart Esports. Now, this is a really good performance, right? 4 kills, 9 points. They're definitely gonna enter the top 8. If not that, they're gonna have a really good overall standings for them, and
Yeah.
they're gonna anyways play the Super Weekend. We know that they're not that miserable right now. They've been still having that really phenomenal run, but Team Clarity Bablu, they've done a really good job at recovering themselves. And Zebian and Teen Wolf, two of those players alive, but P and Crew. Now this is where we are witnessing this surge of confidence inside of them, right? Coming in, having some few really good games, getting to the top 3. This is exactly what you would expect from a team like P and Crew, which was sort of missing in those first 2 weeks that we had.
Exactly, but now again, take a look at this. Lady Bubble finally being spotted out. TDK, one man goes down. Jane is the big man who falls down. Yoke still alive on his feet. P and Crew blend. That's a little bit of too much confidence that you're showing there, bud. Sometimes you gotta hold your horses back in the line. But take a look at this. Yoke, he's looking to find the second buck, but he does realize the priority of Res as well, and that's what he's going for. Instead, opts out for the resurrection. Unfortunately, their IGL is not really alive inside the game. So I'm pretty sure he's giving us some call-outs for the team, how they should function inside this entire situation. Finds another one as well. Laurie was the last man alive. By the way, he's not anymore. TDK get themselves a chicken dinner. Actually, and well, just like that, they were already in the top position in the overall rankings. And well, this one is just going to be solidifying them that spot.
I mean, look at Suyok just laughing it out. I mean, had to be the perfect opportunity when he realized after you wipe down an entire squad, who did you wipe out, right? When he saw it was being, and like, so easy for them.
Wow,
And I mean, this is one of the rivalries where I want P and Crew to respond back. Initially, they tried, but well, I mean, you've got to go against Sandesh, right? The messenger of death. The way he's been performing lately has been so beautiful to watch. I'm just waiting for the moment he comes up on the top 3 of our kill leaderboards, because now Stalwart, they've recovered really well. T2K have got another chicken dinner, a perfect reply towards DRS's attempt to try and pan them out, of course. But that being said, a lot to be discussed for this match. But right now, we'll be heading for a short little break, because the desk is going to come right after and break the fights down.
Hello and welcome to the virtual world and the virtual studio of PMPL South Asia Season 4 right here. We're in week number 3. League play days is where we're at. Day number 1 coming to an end with that game, and what a play that was. I mean, train to kill. There is no stopping this team, dudes.
Yeah, it got really spicy in the end, by the way.
Exactly.
And Crew going up against T2K. But still, I mean, T2K, I mean, it's once they start getting those chicken dinners, it's really, really difficult to keep them away from the taste of blood.
I mean, they managed to get those numbers right for themselves, and it has been T2K DRS kind of an affair today for most of the day. Well, talking about Sandesh, the lad has been doing really good. Previously in Miramar, this lad had an incredible clutch for the 5 moments, and this time in Erangel, well, 6 kills, 254 healing gun, 2 assists as well. And, in the final moment, I mean, T2K was just in their own element playing. Like we saw the old T2K kind of a vibe. Like today has been a day of classics, to be honest. Like we are seeing classical gameplays by all these teams. They're old styles.
True.
Also, I mean, the one game we talk about Stalwart Esports not performing the way they used to is the one where they have a decent performance. I mean, we do see action in the top players as well. 2 kills, but that 788 damage means some kills were secured because, I mean, they had a decent number of kills and decent placement points from this match as well.
Yeah, that's where we had the conversation. We talked about Clarity Bablu.
Yeah.
Well, they did do good. We talked about Stalwart. They did do good. They might just mark up their entry around 16th position right now, but still, it's just one mistake. One mistake can just take them down. Plus, obviously, they won't be playing one match tomorrow. It's for every team. So that's where they'll have to cross that bridge for themselves. But T2K, we talked about this team as well. There and ZEUS is like, though these teams will be playing what T2K does. Well, they get a chicken dinner.
I mean, another thing to bring up is of course going to be PN Crew. I mean, that team on this week number 3. In this week number 3, they have been phenomenal. But of course, we shall have to see tomorrow what they bring up to the table. But as soon as they step into the weekend, the super weekend, will it be a bit too late of a journey start? We shall have to see from there.
Think about it. Right? T2K, they lost one of their players early. That's why, look at their average survival time. PN Crew, well, they had all their players survive until the end.
Yep.
I mean, that was just so brilliant.
Exactly.
But in all of the... Sorry, Varun.
I was just saying, I mean, PN Crew, they made it to the final fight with all their players. They had an advantage not just in the number of players, but the fact just how they had positioned themselves, and still T2K just completely outplaying the situation.
Exactly, and that is where I wanted to bring up Sandesh, because again, I mean, that roster change coming in for the side of T2K from PN Crew. This dude is the one who's reigning in supreme.
Exactly. I mean, he is doing such a wonderful job, sitting on the first position in terms of the highest kills and the highest damage, followed by his own teammate Jane in highest damage. We do see Godless pop up, by the way, in most utilities used, and most heals done is going to be by Zibian from Bablu Clarity, who had a pretty good game. But so this is what I wanted to talk about. We were talking about teams qualifying, and PN Crew, yes, they have made it to the other side. 19 points from this match, plus the decent games that they've had today do secure the final Super Weekend spot for them. But Bablu Clarity and Stalwart Esports, they don't have a safety cushion, and as Ocean pointed it out, tomorrow they can't afford to mess up.
Yeah,
True, only 4 games remain for all of these teams.
Yeah.
And again, look at this. A1 Esports, well, they had a really good game for the first game. Then they just had, one placement point. And this game, at the 16th position, it's just, no doubt you have a chicken dinner. You still have to go with the flow of amazing games. You cannot mess that up.
And that is something for A1 Esports throughout the 3 weeks, right? We can see that they have been on this, not necessarily a downward slope, but definitely a bit of a seismograph. Exactly, a topsy-turvy curve indeed. But with that, let's of course move on with the topsy-turvy game that we've been a part of with the Oppo F19 performance.
Also, I don't know how I feel about Gatka circles, to be honest, because you get a lot of early game action with those mid-rotation fights, but then the late game is kind of like a little slow, so I love it, I hate it at the same time.
That's true. But these kind of the initial knocks that we see, the last one that I remember seeing was actually in a different PMPL, and that just was done. So these kind of knocks in the early stage, we don't usually see that because mostly people just want to land inside a building, not actually on the roof, and rarely they get opponents just landing down. So in that, it just becomes a fight of 2 cases. First things, you get a good gun that actually takes you to that range, and secondly, you see an opponent, right? That's important as well. You land before them. So those 2 things did check out.
I think the weapon thing is going to be a little bit more important because we've seen people attempt situations like these with pistols as well, and it doesn't look good.
Oh, I have seen that actually happening. To be honest, I've done those as well a few of the times. It's always, you have to land down, all right, 234 meters per second, and that, on to 10 o'clock, you just have to land at the fastest surrounding areas. Well, that's a different story. But now, again, you're talking about a lot of fights that happen around Gatka Circle, just like you said, right? It's chaotic for a few reasons. First thing, there are those Gatka trenches. Well, that's a different story. But the openness of the area again, Erangel kind of becomes an unexpected Miramar with the openness. Again, you still have those houses. But look at this. This is like an open area where the only covers might just be, these maybe a few boulders and or haystacks. And these happen as well.
Yeah, these happen. This happens because of pressure. You mess up. It's so open. You know, you have no space to move. People who rotate in early will always have an advantage. They will be trying to make their compounds basically bad caves, and they are going to be unpenetrable. You can't move into those situations, and if you do, you better be ready for an intense fight. And situations like these are super interesting. And when the circle actually moves away from these compounds, they become even more fun to watch, because now the people who were in a much better sort of cover earlier on, they are going to be forced out of positions, and it puts them at a really big disadvantage in those fights.
Yeah, and you know, there's also this thing, as we'll be just closing up forward. You'll see obviously Stalwart, Clarity Bablu, PM Crew, and T2K. These 4 teams surviving. What's important is it's kind of a similar terrain. You see everyone, right? It's just one slanting slope. So in these kind of circles, well, what should happen is the first one to make a move should actually lose. And that's what happened. Like, look at this. Blend actually knocks one of the players of PN Crew, and they just dropped down, but they were not anticipating players on from different side. No doubt T2K never had players for themselves, the number advantage. Still, they just got the game.
What a play. What a play being showcased from the side of T2K. I mean, since the start, since the first week itself, so to say, it has been a T2K domination with so much money in their bank. They are looking just motivated and exhilarated with their performance. 3,445 damage. There's no other team reaching even the 2,000 marker, and this team is on a climb of their own.
Yeah. I mean, that is an incredible performance in this game. Just absolute domination being displayed by this team. And they have been consistent throughout. And as you mentioned, Blotter, not just today, not just in a few games, but throughout the tournament. I mean, this team has been doing so well for themselves. But on the other side, PN Crew, the recovery is looking really nice. Venom Legends, they're trying to have a few decent games for themselves. I would say today was a decent day as a whole. Future Station as well, it is Erangel. We know they're going to come in one way or the other.
True.
Oh, yes. All right, with that, let's move on forth. As I do see, Ocean does not really want to have a go at this damage graph, but we shall move on forward to the storyboard.
I actually wanted this. I wanted this.
All right.
Yeah. Look at PN Crew, right? Their jump is solely, like, not solely, but still, it's the placement point marker is playing a really, really crucial role, which was missing last time, right? Placement point marker is something that's just helping them overall as of now, and it's just working up in their favor because now this team is in top 5. Well, had they been there previously, I mean, we could have just seen pretty good things, to be honest.
Exactly. I mean, I agree with that. But look at Train to Kill. Perfectly balanced, making Thanos happy like always. 44 placement points, 44 kills, 88 points in total. Also, classic I8, ladies and gentlemen, with 15 placement points, 29 kills.
Wow.
This team is just incredible to watch in every single match. I mean, if they survive the early game aggression, later on they are so hungry for those kills, and it's always exciting. But surprises, as we have talked about, PN Crew 7C doing well for themselves this week. We see them on the 7th with 35 points. So hopes for making it to the Super Weekend and securing a lot more points. But over on the other side, look at the teams that are out of the top 16 right now. The Nice Guys, R3D, Paradox, and S9 Esports. I don't trust DE, to be honest. They did this last week as well. Qualified with their very last game. So, yeah.
There definitely could be a comeback from their side, most certainly. On the other front, as Ocean was mentioning earlier as well, I mean, talk about that cutoff point right there on that 16th position, because only 16 teams will move on into the Super Weekend, and that right now is sitting at 18 points. So that is certainly going to be changing tomorrow, and a lot of teams are definitely going to be shuffling up and down through that.
Definitely. I mean, we'll see a lot of changes just happening, because right now it's just, R3D, well, they played their first Super Weekend recently, right? We talk about Seal9 and Paradox. These teams have also played just one Super Weekend. So either of these teams will have to just, step up onto their game, or we might just see a lot of things changing. And we know DE will step up their game tomorrow, and DE would want to just get in top 16. So that's my question. Which team can just come out? Because right now, Future Station, a team that is just looking really good when it comes onto those map chances, overall stats. They are also kind of having a sword above, their head right now.
So now, Ocean, I have a question for you. I mean, because you're the maths genius out of us. Future Station, they have a pretty decent position, if I'm not wrong, in the overall standings of the Super Weeks.
Definitely.
If they fail to make it this time, do you think they will still have enough, big enough of a safety cushion to make it to the finals?
I don't want to jinx it, but I'm pretty sure they will still make it to the finals. Depends though on what sort of a competition actually stays around their respective bubble.
So true.
Because top 3 is different, right? When it comes on, and then bottom area is different, but around them, slowly and steadily, it can change.
And with that, I mean, as you so perfectly talk about the top teams, let's segue in with T2K's performance, the team card from this team, which has, of course, the stats based on just today's 4 games. But again, I mean, just legendary starts all the way through from all the players.
I mean, Suyog is an absolute monster. Look at that survival time. Look at those KPM. Look at the damage right there.
I mean, the entirety of T2K has been a monster right now because if you just have a look at it, in the games that they were not having a chicken dinner, they were still in top 3.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So,
what a play. What a play this team is showcasing to the table when it comes to PMPL Season 4. With that, let's have a look at the day summary for all the games that did take place today. As we started things off, it was A1 Esports, the one-time pony. Will it be, will it not? We shall have to see tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be really interesting to watch what A1 Esports and a lot of these teams, in fact, bring to the table tomorrow. It's one last-ditch effort for the teams that failed to qualify for the previous Super Weekends, and it's going to be really interesting. But again, as Ocean mentioned, I mean, T2K, really good performance today in the final game, especially highest kills of the day, highest knocks, highest damage. Although the highest healing was done by DRS in Miramar, it was a game in which T2K finished second.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they still had like really good points for themselves,
Yeah,
right? They had more points than DRS, if you remember, right? So that's the kind of thing. So it's just the way
they had 16 kills in that game. T2K had 16 kills in that Miramar match.
So it's just this thing, right? The way the team is playing, they're just not scared of anything that comes in front of them. And obviously, they should not be because. League, they are just nailing it. Super Weekends, they are just nailing it with one of the highest chicken dinner numbers is what they have. Now their only thing is just, maybe. So it's a long stretch. But will we see double digits in Super?
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I mean, we talked about it when this tournament started, right?
Yeah, I mean, overall, obviously, they are just around that goal. But in Super Weekend.
Okay, yes. Now that does make things interesting because again, when it comes to that Super Weekend, this team has already got, 6K in the bank? And again, they'll have 15 more matches to participate. Wow! All right.
See, it looks possible, right?
It does. It certainly does. With the way that the team has showcased their stats in the previous games throughout the days, it has been phenomenal. And well, with that, let's move on and have a look at the kill leaders coming in to the next stat that will be on our screens. And in that, of course, we do have Stalwart Action, who is leading the charts, almost going to be
short. Still short over 4 points. Oh my god! I mean, that's close now.
Yep.
I mean, it is going to be fun to watch him surpass that 100 kill marker as an individual in these league stages. But again, they have to keep doing the same thing because I believe a major chunk of these points came in during the league play of the second week. When Stalwart Esports actually dominated the 2 days performance. They need to replicate the same thing tomorrow, make it to the other side, and do the same thing for the next 3 days. That is going to be the Super Weekend.
That's true. But Sandesh has been doing really good. I mean, today's climb of Sandesh, personally, has been one of the most impressive climbs that this lad has done. Plus, he's the one that has one of the highest survival times as well. If not the highest as of now, I saw 120 minutes 14 seconds, and then his is 20 minutes 11 seconds. Gyalzen, I mean, this lad, he was at the top tier number when the tournament actually started. But well, now he is onto the lines of killer as well. Both of them with the actually 3 people with the 69 kills, same kill number for them. Mafia Ninja is just coming up there as well, and Probeen. All right, Vibes is doing really good overall as a team.
Yes, exactly. Vibes have been incredible, and Visible Vibes as well. I mean, as the dynamic duo always like to say, these teams, they know how to vibe.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, talk about Visible with Vibes, right? I mean, this is the first time they're getting introduced to the PMPL arena altogether itself, and the way they've been able to tackle all the teams against them and the aggressive stance that they've been able to also bring in for themselves itself has been absolutely wonderful to see and be part of, and ferocious as well. It brings in a lot of energy to these games with the side of Visits with Vibes always popping off heads. But what a day this has been. What a day it has been. But of course, the journey will continue on to tomorrow, the final league play day, before we move into the third super weekend for PMPL Season 4. Along with that, as you guys are already here, have you clicked that red button yet? Please do not forget to subscribe, and not only right here on the channel that you're viewing, but also, of course, go on to follow PUBG Mobile Esports pages on Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And as you're busy with that, you can very well look up these dudes and of course the casters as well, and go ahead and follow and maybe get in a DM and have a little bit of chat if you'd like to. But yes, with that, we do reach the end of our day. With that, one more thing that I do have to ask you guys: what are your anticipations? What region do you think is going to be popping off heads tomorrow?
I mean, judging by today, it's going to be Nepal only because T2K, they are doing
Yeah,
it.
Exactly.
I'll copy his homework. I'll say what he says.
All right, well,
All right.
with that, like I said, we do reach the end of our stream. A big thanks to our sponsor, Oppo F19 Pro, for making this all happen. Thank you so much for you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.